Good evening.
Good evening, and I apologize for being late.
How was your Thanksgiving?
My Thanksgiving was good. I had two Thanksgivings.
Okay.
But I have some complaints.
Okay.
We'll get there, though, but I know there's a question you're dying to ask me.
Hey, did you buy a mesh network?
No, I didn't.
So here's another question.
Okay.
Have you bought a MacBook Pro?
No.
No. Okay.
Have you?
No.
Okay. Well, you hesitated.
No, I have not bought one. No.
Yeah, I got really close on some of the Black Friday sales, but no, I didn't didn't pull the trigger on a new mesh network for home. But I'm hopeful that certain people that listen to this podcast will get me a Micro Center gift card, and then we can correct that issue.
Got it.
Yeah.
Smart.
Yeah. So tell me about your Thanksgiving.
You know, it was it was fine. It was fine. We always spend Thanksgiving with Jennifer's side of the family, so we drive up to Centersburg or somewhere in the middle of nowhere, have Thanksgiving with her sister and her parents. And it wasn't unpleasant. I introduced them to Ticket to Ride, so a little Thanksgiving board gaming. Yeah.
I mean, it could be a lot worse. Could be a lot
worse.
Could be a lot worse board games to play. Ticket to Ride's a solid game. Which version of Ticket to Ride?
I only have the original classic, I guess the US edition. Yeah, but I've been, I always look at the other ones.
Also known as the Freedom Edition.
Yeah. Exactly.
Speaking of board games, I just got the steal of the century.
Okay.
So you're in my favorite game store, Beyond the Board, located here in very pleasant Dublin, Ohio. I had saw they were doing some Black Friday sales. I'm not a typical big Black Friday shopper, although I did go to Micro Center on Black Friday for unrelated reasons. But, after dinner tonight, had a few really strong drinks, and I'm like, I really haven't been to the game store in a while. And, if I get liquored up, it's not a good place to take me because I lose what little self-control I have. But anyway, they had a selection of games that they had marked at 40% off. And as you can imagine, and this is an indictment of the game store, it's an indictment of any store, but usually when they do these 40% off things, usually it's stuff they have a lot of stock of or stuff that's old inventory or whatnot.
Yes, sitting there for quite a while.
Yeah, and to be fair, they had quite a bit. To be fair, no, it's okay. We're big fans of that show in the house. They had quite a bit of hot garbage games that I have no intention of owning in any stretch. But as I was perusing the wide selection of 40% off games, I managed to snag Fury of Dracula 4th edition, which I'm a huge fan of that game, and I own 3rd edition. But 4th edition, now published by WizKids, makes a few small rules tweaks and rules clarifications that makes owning it completely worth it. So that at 40% off is a steal. And they also had Underwater Cities, which is a game that is really hard to find, and I'm not really sure why that was marked at 40% off. It's sealed, and it is completely unopened and in perfect condition. So I don't know why it was 40% off, but now I own Underwater Cities, which is a top 100 game on Board Game Geek, so can't go wrong there.
Yeah. Huh. Yeah. How about that?
Yeah.
Good for you.
Thanks. I feel pretty good about my purchases today.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, before we dive into the show proper today, I've got a couple quick little notes for you. Number one, your editing skills continue to astound me.
Okay.
Yeah, so I noticed listening back to last episode, you did the cold open.
Yes, I did. I just went right into it.
Yeah, and as grateful as I am for the recorded intros, which I still think are good, that was actually pretty decent. I like the cold open.
Yeah. I figured, I wanted to give something a try, and honestly, it kind of just happened by accident. A lot of times when I start importing my tracks on the Fairlight, I have a good idea of what I want the intro to be, and then this time I didn't, so I just kind of started editing, and I was like, you know what? I thought about going back and adding the intro track. I'm like, you know what? It just kind of works. So I left it. Yeah.
Okay. Well, it was quite good, and you stitch together our voices and make them sound pretty darn good. I got to give you mad props, man. You're getting pretty good at this.
I try, yeah.
Yeah. One other thing I want to talk about is we're recording this on the 30th, which is a Saturday, the day before December 1st. And December is a super busy month for me.
Okay.
I've got a wedding anniversary, I have a birthday, we have major denominational holidays creeping up on us. So, here's what I was thinking, Paul.
Okay.
Got a little challenge for you.
Okay.
All right. We are going to do the first ever Doing Best Pod gift exchange. And to start, it is going to be just me and you.
Okay.
It'll be a gift exchange where we will each buy something for each other to be delivered, hopefully, the day we record a podcast in December. So we can open them and have our listeners basically listen to us open packages.
Okay. All right.
Okay. Now, here's the kicker.
Okay.
Here are the rules. There are no rules.
Okay.
There is no spending limit.
Okay.
Marinate on that.
Okay.
Because I already know what I'm getting you.
Okay. Oh, boy.
Yeah. Absolutely no rules.
Absolutely no rules.
Absolutely no rules. The Thunderdome of gift exchange. It is going to be something.
2 gifts enter, 1 gift leaves.
Yeah. The listeners will absolutely most definitely judge who got the better gift. So,
okay.
Yeah, bring your Aest of A game.
Okay. All right. I'm going to have to think about this.
Okay. Well, you got plenty of time. We will pick a day, not the next 2 weeks. Probably the week before Christmas we should target. But we can basically figure that out. We should probably set a target to get this thing set prior to that week, so that way we can arrange things to arrive on time. Okay. All right.
Okay.
Dude, you should just admit defeat early because I already know how I'm going to get you. All right. So, anything else to add before we dive in? We've got a few topics today.
No. I'd love to start with your complaint about Thanksgiving dinners. You got me intrigued.
Well, Paul, let me ask you something. As long as you've known me, have you known me to be a man of efficiency, a man of structure, a man of following the rules?
No, absolutely not.
Okay. Well, see, I see myself that way. So you just ruined the whole bit.
Okay. All right.
So
no, I see you pushing the rules, but
okay, fair. Right. Now, Paul, let me ask you something. Would you consider yourself to be a gravy man?
Oh, I love gravy.
Okay.
I love it.
So,
in fact, the whole reason I sit down at Thanksgiving is for the gravy.
Okay. All right. I'm with you there. And I put gravy over everything, which leads to my complaint. I had the benefit of sitting at 2 wonderful Thanksgiving dinners this past week. I was in Pennsylvania. I was here in Ohio. I had a great Thanksgiving dinner in both places. However, I am a man who puts gravy over everything. So I do the mashed potatoes, I do the turkey, I do the stuffing. Literally, just gravy me up, dog. Like, give me all the gravy on everything. But here's the problem, all right? You ready to hear my problem? Gravy served at dinner arrives to be served in one of 2 containers. The first container is a gravy bowl, right? You have a porcelain or glass bowl that the gravy sits in, usually more than one, depending on the size of your table and the number of guests that you have. Usually you can use to pour the gravy over, whatever you want to put the gravy on. The other place that gravy tends to live when you're getting Thanksgiving dinner is if you're doing Thanksgiving dinner buffet style, usually somewhere near the stove or on the stove will be a saucepan full of gravy. You with me so far?
I am, absolutely, yes.
Okay, so here's my thing. It's really annoying when you go up to make your plate for Thanksgiving, and usually people have the presence of mind to say, okay, we're going to put the potatoes near the gravy, because at a minimum, people are going to get gravy on their potatoes. I think you have to be a special kind of monster to not have gravy on potatoes, like just plain potatoes. I don't know how you do that.
Okay, let's circle back to that. Okay.
Oh, no.
Let's go. All right, you keep going.
Okay. All right. But usually that is where you find gravy placement.
Yes, absolutely.
But for someone like me who wants gravy on everything, the gravy should be at the end of the line, because the situation you have, especially in smaller kitchens, is you have somebody doubling back for the gravy. And that's just not a good.
No good.
That's not a good experience. No good. So hosts, hear me out. If you're not going to put gravy on the table to be passed around and shared with every guest at your dinner party or your Thanksgiving dinner, what I would suggest instead is that you basically make sure you position and lay out your buffet, your spread, in such a way that people who want gravy on everything can just do that. That happened not once but twice this week, and I'm gonna catch a lot of crap for this. I know it, but just let me be weird about this and say I just want to be efficient. I want to make one trip. I want to pour my gravy, and I want to sit down. Now, Paul, am I a monster?
Yeah. Absolutely not.
Okay.
Absolutely not. No, I also put gravy on everything. Stuffing, mashed potatoes, the turkey, all of it. So I feel your pain. The gravy. If I was preparing Thanksgiving dinner and it was buffet style, I would make sure the gravy was strategically placed so you could get it at the end and put it on whatever you wanted. I guess those are the things that I would think of. Yeah. Now, speaking of monsters, my wife does not like gravy on her mashed potatoes. She does just not like gravy, period. Does not like gravy, period. Does not put it on her potatoes. Doesn't like it at all.
But is she eating the potatoes plain? Is she putting like some butter or some salt or what?
She puts butter on them, yes.
Okay, so they're not plain. She's not a monster. I mean, I can understand the whole gravy thing, but
yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I'm all about the gravy.
Yeah, I'm all about the gravy too. Title. Yeah. Yeah, so that was like my major complaint. It was great. Everything was so good. I think Thanksgiving might be my favorite holiday if I'm being completely honest.
I also enjoy Thanksgiving. It's got the traditional getting together with family and friends and whatnot. But it doesn't have the obligation of gifts.
Okay, so I'll slow down there, Super Chief. So mine does have the obligation of gifts, and I am a terrible, terrible brother.
Uh-oh.
So I have one sibling. He lives in Florida. He doesn't make it home. He probably makes it home about as much as I do, and I live only 3 hours away from home, so you figure that one out. But
okay.
But, he came to Thanksgiving. It was nice to see him. Got to see his significant other, which is always great. And, he brought gifts for me and my wife. But guess who didn't bring him gifts?
You.
Me. And part of that was I just assumed that maybe we would see him at some point around the Christmas holiday. Usually we can't meet up on Christmas due to scheduling and all that type of stuff. But, not going to see him on Christmas, turns out, and I didn't have a gift to give him. And Paul, he wrote me a beautiful card. It made me cry. He gave me a wonderful gift. Yeah. And my brother and I have never been super close, but we're starting to reconnect a little bit. And man, I was a giant ball of guilt and kind of still am. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, luckily you could always send him some gifts.
I know, but it's just not the same. And plus I don't know what to get him, Okay. I mean, he got me an Amazon gift card, right? But he also got me another little trinket. God, I wish I had the card in front of me to read it. But the listeners could hear me cry on air. Man, it got me so good. It got me so good. Yeah. Yeah. So you just did the one dinner then, just going up to Jennifer's parents?
Yep, just the one dinner.
Now, do you guys go for the whole day, or how do you guys do an out and back thing?
We go there pretty much the whole day. We get dinners on the table around 12:30, so we get there around 11:30, and we don't leave until I don't know. We left around 7:30 or so in the evening. So yeah, lots of catching up, lots of talking. And they have kids that are roughly about the same age as mine, so they play together pretty nice. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, not too bad.
Now, do you guys bring anything?
No. They prepare. Only thing we usually bring is some adult beverages. But my sister-in-law, she makes a phenomenal Thanksgiving dinner. She does it all herself. So how we kind of do it is they do Thanksgiving and we do Christmas for her side of the family. So they come down to our place and we usually make like a big, well, I say we, it's me, make like a big brunch for everybody at our place for Christmas.
Yeah. That sounds nice.
Yeah, it's not too bad. You know, it was a very nice Thanksgiving. Yeah.
Yeah, Mandy, I'm not going to say we. Mandy does all the work, but she usually prepares a dessert, and she usually brings some kind of salad to have with dinner.
Okay.
And, yeah, Mandy loves to bake, so she makes these awesome sugar cookies that are just super, super good.
So, that sounds terrific.
Yeah. All right, so good Thanksgivings then.
Indeed.
Yeah. You know, this kind of leads me into my next topic. I don't know if you saw what I added to the doc here, and
I did, and I'm very, very confused.
All right. So, like I mentioned before, you know, we went back to Pennsylvania to have Thanksgiving dinner with my mom and my dad and my brother. And they live in southwestern Pennsylvania, which you literally just have to get on Interstate 70, travel east from Columbus to get there. It's about a 3-hour drive. Super, super doable, out and back in one day, which is what we did. You know, it's a pretty boring drive. There's not a lot between here and there. The major towns that kind of exist between here and there is Zanesville and Cambridge, Ohio. And then shortly after Cambridge, you start to get into West Virginia and St. Clairsville and everything. But about halfway, I'll put a link in the show notes, but I sent you a link, Paul. There is an exit. I believe it is exit... I don't even know what exit it is. Exit 169. Nice. Exit 169 that exists off Interstate 70. And that is basically a little town called New Concord, Ohio. Mm-hmm. And pretty unremarkable town, except for the fact that that's where Muskingum University is. So Muskingum University, really small school. What I love about this is if you click on that name in Google, it has 25 reviews. The college has 25 reviews. It's a solid 3.6, so way to go, Muskingum. No, but anyway, the picture I sent you takes you to a particular set of coordinates on the map. And
it sure does.
So tell me what you see.
Well, it looks very rural. It's just when you click into it, there's really only one feature, and it is the Garland Hotel.
Yes, the Garland Hotel. Now, here's the interesting thing: the Garland Hotel in this picture appears to still be under construction. It has been built.
Okay.
It is built, and it has been built for at least a couple of years because. In my time driving to and from Pennsylvania, I remember that it was under construction. I remember it, you know, there was something being built, and then the next time I went home, it had the shape of what looked to be a hotel. And then it became the Garland Hotel. It is fully lit up. It looks very nice on the outside, even though it is described as a, quote, 2-star hotel. It has 300 user ratings about, and it has a 4.6 rating on Google. Rooms run you about $70 a night, which is typical for what I think would be a hotel along the Interstate 70 corridor between here and Pittsburgh. But here's the interesting thing. There's not a lot going on where this particular hotel was built.
No, there's not. There's not. Almost nothing around it.
You could make the case that if Mom and Dad were going to come visit little Bobby or Sally at Muskingum University, they would need a place to stay. But the problem
that makes sense.
But yes. The problem is right down the road, you have several other hotels in Zanesville, and you have several other hotels in Cambridge, probably better hotels than what you would get at the Garland Hotel in New Concord, Ohio. Are you with me so far?
Okay, I follow.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Now, you can clearly see this hotel from the highway.
Yeah, it's right off the. It's right.
It is right off the highway. It is built on the edge of like a cliff face, I guess, or an embankment. I guess it's not really a cliff. It's more of an embankment. You can clearly see the hotel. It gets lit up at night, especially now that the sun sets at like 3:30 in the afternoon. You can see this hotel all lit up. Here's the thing. This recent trip back to Pennsylvania, we were driving past the Garland Hotel, and now there are there's a huge solar array. You have to kind of picture it here. It'd be to the left of the hotel at the aerial picture.
Okay.
And a windmill directly behind it.
Green energy, good for them.
Good for them. Now, driving past it, I couldn't help but notice the sheer amount of white sedans parked at the Garland Hotel. In point of fact, every single car parked in the Garland Hotel parking lot that I could see was a white sedan of, I'm just going to say it, government flavor.
Okay.
All right. Now, we looked at it and I thought, gee, that's weird. I've never seen that hotel that packed. I've never seen that hotel visited at all. I'm not really even sure how you get to that hotel. I'm assuming the roads in the overhead, photography pictures here would lead you to the Garland Hotel, but I don't really know how you would even get there.
Okay.
So we drove past it heading east, had dinner, did our thing, drove back. Driving past it again, it's a little harder to see the parking lot, but I slowed down just enough that we could look back, and sure enough, the parking lot is completely full, but every single room facing Interstate 70 has their curtains drawn, windows, rooms lit up, as clearly nobody is in them.
Huh.
So I thought to myself...
some sort of event?
I doubt it.
Okay, all right.
They don't, it's not a big enough hotel to have a conference center.
Okay, all right.
Right? If you zoom in on the picture, you can kind of see there is a circular kind of fenced-in area in the back there that I'm assuming is the swimming pool. I haven't done too much investigation here yet, but yeah. So here's my theory. I don't think this is a hotel. I'm going to go ahead and make that claim. This is not a hotel. I think that this is some very secretive bunker or way station for our government. Sitting off of Interstate 70 in New Concord, Ohio. Because there is still a lot of heavy machinery parked at the Garland Hotel if you were to drive past it today. They are continuing to expand that green energy option there. What exactly are they powering? There's something going on there, Paul.
Lab.
There's something going on there, Paul. I don't quite buy it.
Some sort of dark experiment.
There's something going on off Interstate 70 in New Concord, Ohio.
Now, have you been to the website for this sham hotel?
No.
Okay. So, I don't know if you've noticed, but from looking at the pictures, it looks like the words Garland Hotel are illuminated in some sort of like neon green color.
Yes, they are. The exterior of the hotel does have a green logo. That is correct.
Now, looking at the gallery and looking at the rooms, the bedding, some of the paint colors, that neon green is throughout their decor. Mm-hmm. There's many rooms that have that bright neon green, which is not a good color for paint. I'm gonna drop a link in the show notes.
Also highlighting the pictures has a very soothing, or what the opposite of soothing is.
Yeah, they have bright neon green. I don't know, like what is that thing that's on the hotel bed that's not it's like on top of the comforter that they never wash, that's like clearly not meant to be slept on. It's kind of like a freshness seal for the mattress.
That has a
those
word.
Are in bright, those are in bright neon green as well. I think this makes evident. I mean, I think this kind of proves your theory is because I don't see anybody in any of these pictures.
Nope.
Nobody. And no one wants a neon green hotel. That's disgusting.
And if you look at that picture of the beds, there's like just a desk shoved in a corner.
Yeah. Yep. That's what it looks like.
There's a lot of dissonance in these pictures. There's a triangle seat in the shower. For
safety.
Yeah. And the gym is yellow, which great. But I'm extremely tempted to spend the night in this hotel.
Oh, you should do it and report back.
And
the thing is, I bet you, like they're onto you though. They're probably already monitoring you.
They might be,
and they're ready for you. Is when you book that room, they're going to have actors portraying other guests at the hotel, and they'll turn it on for a night just for you.
And if you look at the picture of the lobby, there are two like They look like kids' umbrellas in the corner. Like, yes, human children have stayed here.
Yeah, exactly. The human children.
Yeah, yes, we are all humans here. There's nothing strange about this place. Yeah, and the walls are like painted with that stipple color. I don't. Ah, it is a hotel that screams, "Don't stay here," isn't it?
It does. It's very. I mean, most of the time, like, a hotel is not the place to make a bold statement in your design. Like, you see lots of beiges and blues and, but not like evil neon lime green.
Okay.
It's just not a good color. No.
I'm counting security cameras in the pictures. I've counted 2.
Okay.
I've counted 2.
Now, you should go all out. You can get the Garland Suite, which is perfect for romantic getaways. It is the ultimate travel experience. It holds up to 8 persons, 1 queen and 2 kings. So I'm curious about how the 8
have 2 queen beds, 1 bedroom suite for $145, $138 if you remember. Ooh.
Oh, there you go. Membership. That's gonna be it right there.
Yeah, it's very rewarding.
All those white sedans were members.
Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah, man. Like it. And here's the thing: it just looks so out of place for what else is around this thing. I can understand if there were future plans to like build an outlet mall, which we're lousy with in Ohio already, on this corridor of I-70. But who the heck would shop at these outlets? Because you've got pretty decent shopping in Cambridge. And a little further down 70, you've got St. Clairsville, which has a mall, right? Like there's absolutely no reason to have this hotel there. Like I don't get it.
Yeah, there's a gas station, a Dollar General, and some apartments and a church. That is really it.
Yeah. Like, does that one hotel service the families of people who come to stay and see their kids?
It must, or maybe they just get lots of like people driving to Pennsylvania and stuff, and they're like,
"I need to stop.
I'm tired. I'm going to stop at the next hotel." Boom.
But here's
Garland
the thing.
Hotel.
Here's the thing. If this is a legitimate hotel, number one, I'm just going to assume that it is.
Okay. All right.
It is a member of the Choice Hotels Network, which I don't know anybody that's a member of that program. And again, a short 10-minute drive down 70, you have your choice of Marriott's, Hilton's, what have you. In either direction, I might add, even if it's Zanesville. I don't get it. Something's going on here, Paul, and I'm going to get to the bottom of it. Listeners, listen to me. I'm going to need you to go to the Garland Hotel and report back. Maybe we'll make it. Maybe we'll have our first ever Doing Best Pod convention at the Garland Hotel.
Oh, that sounds spectacular.
Yeah, and you have to understand, Paul. This preoccupied my entire trip.
I can imagine.
Yeah, that's how much free time I have. So. Yeah,
it's only from where I live. It's only an hour and a 15-minute drive.
It's not a far drive.
That's nothing.
And I'm telling you, just the stark contrast of this monolithic-looking hotel perched over Interstate 70, built up on land that was built up specifically to house it, because that mound of dirt didn't used to be there. So okay. I'm led to believe that something is buried underneath the Garland Hotel. I mean. Put it this way.
I don't see how you could be wrong.
I would be more shocked if it wasn't. Let's put it that way. So that's my conspiracy theory. Okay. If you never hear from me again, you understand why.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's all the evidence I have to present for my case. Take it or leave it, but I really think I'm onto something here.
I'm going to have to dig into that.
No. All right, enough about me.
Those are weird. That's a weird color for rooms, man. Oh.
We were driving past it, and half joking, I said to my wife, I said to her, we should just go in and see if we can get a room. And I had convinced myself that they were going to say, no, we're full. And that would have been the end of it, right? But if they had said yes, It would have been really awkward. Like, what?
Just
I have to
pull
go.
out a notebook and make a note and say thank you and then leave.
Yeah, just turn around and just sprint out of the door. Get that on camera.
This also seems suspicious because I clicked on the, find the best rate button, which take me to the Choice Hotels network, and it boasts 468 real guest reviews.
Okay.
Yeah, real guests. Mm-hmm. Not fake guests.
Real human guests with real human reviews. Okay. Enough about me. Sorry. And my conspiracy theories. I'm going to take my medicine. I'm going to be okay. Tell me what you have going on.
Well, so I was hoping that I could get a little assistance from you, and I figured the podcast is the best way to do this. So I am not a member of the PC gaming master race. I am a lowly console gamer. But my son has a gaming PC that we built together, I don't know, a couple years ago, and we've had some like minor upgrades throughout the years and stuff. I know you are a member of the luxurious, exalted PC gamer master race, and it is Christmas time coming up, and outside of money, the only thing that he really he spends a lot of time on his gaming computer. Like that's what he likes to do. And I was thinking about putting a little bit of money into it and getting an upgrade, but I wasn't sure what to get. I'm not sure what to get, Drew. I don't know what to get.
Well, when you say you don't know what to get, are you looking to basically build a brand new system? Are you looking to recycle some parts out of an existing system? Like, what are you looking to do here?
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to do a full rebuild, but I like to get him something that would be, noticeable. Something that we could do, and then he would go, "Oh yeah, my computer is now better than where it was."
Okay. All right. So let's take a step back. So when people ask me about, hey, I want to build a new gaming computer, or I'm thinking about doing this, the first thing I ask them is, what games are you playing now, or what games do you want to play in the future? So what is he playing now?
Well, this is mostly embarrassing. He does still play a lot of Fortnite. He plays a lot of Roblox. He does play what is that dinosaur game? Ark?
Yeah, it's probably Ark. You build stuff. You build stuff and tame dinosaurs.
Yep. Ark Survival
Ark.
Evolved.
Yep, that's the one.
Yep. He has started playing Jedi Fallen Order, which is where this is coming from, because that game really taxes his system quite a bit.
All right. So if I'm hearing you right, he's playing some AAA titles.
Yeah, and Destiny. He plays some Destiny as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he's playing some AAA titles. Okay, so he's playing modern. He's playing modern games. He's not playing just Minecraft, Roblox, web-based games. Okay, I hear that. Okay, so that's issue number one.
Okay.
So then my next question is, what kind of monitor does he have now?
So the monitor he does not have is not great. It is just a 60 hertz. It's like 21-inch 1080p. It's nothing to write home about. It's just, literally it was, we need a monitor. Or we're going through and buying our parts. I'm like, this one's on sale. Thump, into the cart it went. It's some Acer brand. It's not spectacular. No.
Okay. So if I were to give you a simple answer, here's what I think you should buy for his system right now, without knowing anything else from what you just told me.
Okay.
There's basically two things that I would have you buy. The first is I would have you buy a better video card for him, because a video card is going to be probably, when it comes to gaming PCs, best bang for your buck. Plug that in, you're going to see a noticeable difference. You're going to see a noticeable frame jump in all of your games. Okay. Do you happen to know what kind of video card he has now?
I do. It is not a spectacular one. It is a GeForce GTX 1060.
Okay, so he's previous generation 1060, which, by the way, great card. Great card.
When I built the machine, my goal was just to be able to pull off 1080p games and like Fortnite, right, at 60 frames a second. Like, that was my goal. And it's served him well, but I definitely think that it's getting a little long in the tooth, and, games march on and require more and more power, and yeah.
So there's a couple different ways you can go here, and what I would say is, if you wanted to get him something that could really last him a decent while, right? If you were to get this generation's equivalent of something slightly better than your 1060, GeForce now makes an RTX 2070, which sits right in the middle of their 2060, which was the successor of the 1060. and not quite as powerful as the 2080s. So,
Okay.
Looking at the Micro Center website right now, there are more than a few options you could get. You could get a whole slew of, they're just lousy with 2070s, anywhere from $500 to $579, all depending on whether or not you want a stock reference card or if you want one that's slightly overclocked or whatever. For the games he's playing at the resolution he's playing at, this is probably a little bit overkill. So if you wanted to take a step down, you could go and get a 2060. Let me see here. They have a 2060 Super, which is their newest generation.
Okay.
Oh, crap. Hold on. I just lost it. 2060 Super. Yeah, those are about $100 cheaper. So anywhere from $390 some to $500 or $470. Again, depending on how many MHZs you get on your card, and if you want LED lights and what have you.
I mean, for him, LED is always a plus. So
yeah, so they've got quite a few gigabyte, like their Aros brand. Asus has some pretty decent lighting options on their cards. Okay, now having said all that, if you're going to go this route, there's a couple things that you also need to bear in mind here. You're going to need to make sure you have a comparable enough power supply to push this card.
Okay.
I'm not sure what your current power supply situation is.
And that's one thing I don't know. I would have to look into that. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm just looking at this Gigabyte Aros card right here. Triple slot. Yeah. So this one recommends at least a 550 watt power supply. I'd say you're probably better off with a 600 watt power supply. So if you have at least a 600 watt power supply now that has PCIe connections in it, you're probably fine. If you're not, then that's something you'd have to upgrade as well. So I think most bang for your buck, I would look at an RTX 2060 Super should be plenty for what he wants to do. Okay. Now, if you want to win Dad of the Year award, I would also consider upgrading his monitor.
Okay.
All right. Now, monitors are one of those things that always seem to go on sale at this time of year. Let me see here. I'm just looking real quick here. Gaming monitors. Because, gaming.
Of course.
Let's go 27-inch. Let's see what kind. Let's get a 144 hertz monitor. They have full HD, which I'm sure is fine. So they have quite a few decent monitors. There's a Samsung. You're not going to buy Samsung. There's a...
You know me so well.
Yeah. There's a few monitors. They have an MSI Optics. It's a 27-inch curved LED monitor for $250 right now. $229 after rebate. It's on sale. It's $150 off right now. I think both of those would be a pretty suitable upgrade for him. And you could just, it's just a simple fact of plopping the old video card out, plopping the new one in, updating your drivers, and you're good to go. Really.
Right.
Yeah. And, the monitor, it's just use DisplayPort, don't use HDMI.
Okay.
Yeah.
Use DisplayPort, not HDMI. Okay.
Yeah, because HDMI can only push so many HZs, right? So you need to...
Got it, okay.
Yeah, DisplayPort will unlock the full potential of those monitors. So, there's a... If you get a 2060 Super in that monitor, I mean, that's a pretty expensive Christmas, but man, he's going to be rocking some serious FPSs.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially on games like Fortnite, where the higher frame rate will really help him out a lot.
That is true. Yeah, it'll be very twitchy.
Yeah. Yeah, this is a timely subject because I'm in the middle of flirting with doing a system rebuild as well, so...
Yeah, you were talking about that a couple shows ago, thinking about going a full AMD build.
Yeah, so the 3950s dropped, the new Threadrippers dropped, and apparently they are amazing. There's so much good press, especially the Threadrippers.
Okay.
So the only thing stopping me from going Threadripper is I have all the parts and pieces picked out for a fully custom water loop on a Ryzen 3950X, and I don't think I can get... There aren't a ton of motherboards that support the new Threadrippers yet, and there's even fewer companies that have custom water blocks for them yet. So I might have to wait a little bit. Honestly, I'll be lousy with cores on the 3950X anyway. And
lousy with cores.
Lousy with cores. There's another title. But yeah, I'm really close. So the 3950s launched this past week. Micro Center got in a pretty limited supply of them, and they sold out immediately. So I'm waiting to see when they come back in stock, and then I'm going to be buying a whole new case, all the water cooling components. It's gonna be a showcase PC when I'm done.
Fancy.
So I'm really excited to put that together. It's either going to turn out super awesome, or I'm going to just have pissed away $2,000 because there's going to be water, or not just water. There's
pissed away.
There's going to be orange colored, bacterially treated coolant all over my desk and floor and computer parts. So
you know what is like? I know it's a lot easier now than it used to be, but man, that whole idea of making your own like closed looped cooler, it frightens me, man. Like
frightens me
leaks,
too, man.
Like water leaks, like that stuff. It's I mean, I guess you could have a design defect in like a manufactured one as well.
Sure.
So I mean, the risk is still non-zero, but like when it happens and like, you know, it's your Corsair cooler and it starts leaking, like you will, you know, I shouldn't have cheaped out. I should have done it myself. You can blame the manufacturer, but when you put it together yourself and it leaks, it's your fault. Mm-hmm. It's your fault.
Yeah.
You did that.
I did that. And you know, you're right. And I've been doing a lot of research on this. So I hate to throw around the words deceptively simple with this project, but
okay.
It kind of is. I mean, think about what this is, right? You've got a reservoir to hold some liquid. Okay.
Right.
You have a pump that takes the liquid out of the reservoir and shoots it down a tube to a component that you wish to cool.
Yes, exactly.
The liquid enters the block that you put on this particular component. So let's say it's a CPU. So this block sits on top of your CPU. It's got channels cut into it for the liquid to flow. So it flows in one side and out the other, carrying away basically waste heat in the form of liquid out of your block. Then you have another tube that goes from that to a radiator. And then a radiator would then go back to your reservoir. Like that, in a nutshell, is all that it really is. And the thing that fits it all together, the points of failure here aren't the blocks. It isn't the pump. It isn't the reservoir. It's the tubes and the fittings.
The fittings. That's what that makes me nervous, is the fittings.
And, you know, once upon a time, there were multiple different types of fittings. There were barb fittings and compression fittings. And barb fittings were at one point favored, but now they're most decidedly out of favor because they're exactly what they sound like. They have little barbs that as you twist them, they kind of cut into your tubing and lock it into place. Okay. But that puts holes in your tube. So like if they shift at all, then those holes are no longer where the barbs are, and that's when you get leakage, right?
Makes sense. Okay.
That's what I'm led to understand. Now, the compression fittings are way different than they used to be. But you basically shove a tube into the fitting, you screw it down, tamp it tight, and then you screw the fitting into the thing that receives the fitting. So I'm told that it's pretty, idiot-proof as long as you have everything tightened down. And then basically, the trickiest part from what I've seen is that after you have built your loop, what you basically have to do is get a special connector for your ATX power supply that lets you turn on the pump to your liquid cooling system without turning your system on. And you fill it with coolant so you don't run your pump dry. And then the system is fully charged. Then you reconnect your ATX power supply and then turn on your system, and it's good to go. So the tricky part here, the tricky part here is that, taking that same first concept that I described, I'm doing a multi-component cooling process here. So I'm going to have a reservoir, a pump, a tube that goes from the pump to the CPU block, from the CPU block to a radiator, out of the radiator, and then into a graphics card cooler, out of the graphics card into another radiator, and then from that radiator back to the reservoir.
So you have two radiators, one in between, one after each thing you're cooling.
So that's the general rule that I've heard, is that you always want to have...
That makes sense, yeah.
Okay, hold on. So I've heard some pieces of advice here. You want at least 120 millimeters of radiator space for every component that you cool. That number goes up if you're overclocking. So if I'm overclocking both my CPU and my graphics card, I would need about 240 millimeters of radiator space for each component.
Okay.
Now, the only thing that I didn't mention here is that I'm just not going to be cooling my CPU with this block. I am buying a block that is designed to fit a particular motherboard, so it not only cools the CPU socket, it also cools the VRM. So it's going to be cooling all the capacitors and all the chipset pieces too. So it'll keep the motherboard and the CPU at a respectable temperature.
Interesting.
Yeah. So the company that I'm using for this is named EKWB or EK, either one of those. And if you go to their site, you can see here, let me send you a link here real quick. So this particular thing is the block that I'm going to be using. And it is designed specifically for the motherboard that I'm going to be buying. And if you click through the pictures, you can see it is mostly plexiglass.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm thinking of using a solid, opaque liquid instead of clear.
Oh, so you can see it going through.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, you with me on this?
I get it.
But if you look at that first picture where it says Hero. That block covers up it's like a butted up to the whole side of the motherboard, and it's almost stretches all the way to the DIMM banks. So it covers up more than just the processor.
Yeah, that's beefy.
Yeah, and then if you look at the underside of it, you can see that you can clearly see the piece that touches the processor, and then you also have those pieces that are they extend a little bit further out. To support cooling the VRMs. So, yeah, so that's what I'm gonna do. Like I said, I'm waiting till I can make sure the CPU's in stock, and that's gonna be my next project. Yeah, and I'm gonna try to get this 3950 because that's the thing I've heard about these new AMD chips is that there is some space to overclock them, but you either need to have a very, very high end all-in-one cooler or you need a custom loop to do it.
Yeah, I mean, heat is the enemy.
Mm-hmm. I mean, the faster you make electricity go, the hotter it gets.
Yeah, indeed. And, especially with these new CPUs where they have the ability to throttle up quite a bit. The more you can keep them cool, the more headroom you have for that, that boost or whatever AMD is calling it now these days.
Yeah.
So you can get, more out of your processor if you keep it cool.
And because I'm going all in, and you know me, I like aesthetics. I'm probably going with this concentrated. They call it cryofuel. So you can see that I'm going with an orange build to signify that I'm now Team AMD, Team Ryzen.
Oh,
right?
I get it.
And it's going to be a white case. So it's going to be white and orange with some very, very tasteful. All of these parts from EKWB have addressable LEDs in them. So if you look at if you look at these, right, they're not just regular LEDs, they're addressable LEDs. So I can customize them pretty nicely. But the one piece that I'm most excited about here is this one. Here, let me drop another link in the show notes here. This is the piece I'm most excited about because I'm basically building the whole thing off of this one piece.
Okay, so what am I looking at here?
So what you're looking at there is a reservoir pump combo that is very, very tall and very, very skinny. But here's the kicker. It is appropriately sized to fit a very specific case that is clear in the front. So this reservoir will be at the front of the case. You will be able to see the reservoir. It will be lit up, and it will contain all my liquid and my pump.
All right. I see the name of the case, which I'm looking at that now, too, if the internet would work. Here we go. Come on, pictures. Okay, I see. All right, yes. That's a lot of glass on that case.
Uh-huh.
I assume the rest is aluminum?
Yes. And white aluminum, right? So this will be at the front of the case.
You will be there, yes.
You will be looking directly into it, and that is the piece that will be lit up. Slightly lit up, because it's going to be opaque liquid, so you're not going to be able to see too much. But that is how that is going to work.
Okay.
So I'm very, very excited about that.
That looks very fancy.
Yeah. Slightly tasteful. I'm not going to go full bore LED on this thing, but Yeah, this is probably the most expensive component of all the ones that I'm putting into this. But yeah. Yeah, that's what we're doing here.
Huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, this website has a lot of stuff. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I've got a whole safe shopping cart, Paul.
I bet you do.
Yeah. I got my slim 360 millimeter radiators. I've got all my fittings. They're going to be nickel. It's going to be great. Yeah, got my cryo fuel.
Now, to be blunt, I mean, this is going to be a pretty high end, like pricey build.
Oh, Paul. Oh, Paul.
Yeah.
Oh, Paul, you poor naive child. Yeah. Put it this way: the on sale, because we are in that holiday Black Friday, Cyber Monday kind of situation here. Mm-hmm. All of the parts that I have here. So, my water block for my CPU and motherboard, my water block and backplate for my video card, the tubing, the fittings, the fuel, that pump and reservoir combo. I'm looking at about $760 worth of parts just for the cooling.
Yeah. Okay.
But here's the thing. I am definitely going to be selling my motherboard and processor and memory and probably my case. So I'll recoup a little bit of this. I've had a few feelers put out for that, so we'll see if anybody buys it. But I mean, my i9's no slouch. Don't get me wrong.
No, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. But I'll definitely need to offload that. So, yeah. And this has been Overclocking Talk with Drew and Paul. So,
woo.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate the advice you gave me about my son's computer. I took notes. So
yeah, do some investigating, figure out what power supply he has and if it can push it, and that's what I would do. And do you happen to know what kind of processor he has?
Yeah. Hold on, I took a dump from Specky before this.
Dump.
He has. Hold on, let's find that part if I can find. Nope. It's a Coffee Lake Intel i7 3.2 gigahertz 6 core.
Perfect. Yeah, he's fine. Yeah. If he's got an i7, he's doing fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say that in that case, how much RAM? He's got 8 or 16?
16.
Oh, dude, he's got a kick-ass little system there. Yeah, get that video card, man.
All right, that's what I'm going to do.
Yeah. Let me know if you want to make a Micro Center run. I'll be down for that.
You know what? I just might take you up on that.
Good. Well, that should be enough for this week. So, Paul, where can people find us online?
As always, we are on the internet at doingtheirbest.com. You can send us an email at contact@doingtheirbest.com. You can find the podcast on the Twitters. It's at doingbestpod. You can find me on Twitter at Paul Baylor, BAHLER. And where can we find you, Drew?
Yeah, I'm on Twitter at PITTFURG.
Spectacular.
Well, I think that'll be about enough for tonight. So, Paul, as always, it's been a pleasure.
Absolutely.
All right, everybody. Talk to you next week.
Yeah. Talk to you later.